I got some good news and I got some bad news. The good news, I am the bad news. And in this video, we're turning the DaSlapBox into a two-seater to make more space for bass. In my 2011 Scion XB car audio build, it's not a race car, it's a bass car. So basically, we're gonna remove the back seats, and in their place, I'm building a platform that's gonna extend the trunk floor all the way to the front seats. The box is gonna be mounted on top of that platform, and under that platform, the amps will be mounted basically where the back seats used to be. And so they're gonna be sunk under the floor, and there's gonna be like a little window and some lights, and it's gonna be like super fancy when it's done. When this video's over though, it's still a work in progress, so that'll be in the next video when it's like complete. But we're gonna like talk about the platform and like introduce it and all that kind of stuff. Oh, and by the way, the amp is back. Obviously, I don't know what it's like, but I've got to imagine this is pretty much what it feels like to have your child come home from like Afghanistan or something. It was in Maine with the amp lab getting repaired. It's been a couple months with no bass, man. That's so whack. And it has since returned. It's good as new, probably even a little better, but it's back. We're back in the game, making noise. So yeah, it's back. I'm sure my neighbors are back to hating it, so. It's still only temporarily installed, like I still have it mounted to something that's not permanent. This is just temporary, literally just so I can sleep tonight. But it's back and it's making noise. That's pretty much the bottom line here. So I used to ride around with the back seats folded down and the box sitting like halfway on the back seats and halfway on the trunk floor. And the reason I did that was so that the port had enough space to breathe, like off the back door, because I couldn't even close the trunk with the plastic lid like installed. I had to take that off in order to close the trunk and have the back seats up with the box in, because the box took up literally all of the trunk space of my car. There was absolutely nothing to spare. So now by removing my back seats, I'll be able to use that space that used to be back seats for mounting and displaying the amps in a nicer way than they were before, and also keeping them secure. And then I'll also be able to mount the box pretty much wherever I want on the new trunk floor. And I reinstalled the plastic trunk lid. I sound deadened it first, of course, obviously with some Noiko. And now I have yet another layer of, you know, deadening protection and just separation from the outside world. So yeah, to build the frame, all I had to do was get rid of the back seats and then use cardboard to get like the weird shapes of the contours of the floor so that I could have the trunk floor be level. You know, it's not like super precise, but it's level. Ooh, I'm so happy I'm wearing a GoPro right now. Can you see that? I did it. If you saw the last couple videos, like you've seen, like my cutting techniques are not necessarily up to par. And with this part of the project, I just kind of like planned that into the whole process. So like I'm leaving some of the pieces a little long so that I have room to trim and to sand it down and all that later, because like I figured if I'm gonna have some messed up cuts, I'm just gonna know I have messed up cuts and plan accordingly, you know what I mean? So that's what we're doing right now. So after I got the cardboard templates for, you know, like the weird shapes, I transferred those templates to some wood. And at first I actually used a piece of a door because it's like halfway between cardboard and wood. So it was like a nice middle ground to just final check on my measurements before I put it on the piece of wood and ruined it. But yeah, I put it on the piece of wood, did the same thing. I've been using the jigsaw the whole time and just taking my time, and it's been working, you know, and just kind of trimming as necessary. So like I'll measure the big pieces, but then the final cuts are all just kind of eyeballed, you know, literally cutting off like 1/4 inch little slivers at a time and just get it just right, you know, which doesn't help when you're designing as you go, which is what I'm doing. Like I'm literally piecing it together and then picturing how the next piece should go, you know what I mean? So that always has some difficulties involved, but so far so good. My pieces meet where they're supposed to meet, and I'm happy with the current progress. The floor was done in pretty much the same way. I used cardboard to like get the weird contours around like where the actual latch was at, and then pretty much the rest of it is just a straight square piece, so that was easy. The whole trunk floor is gonna be 3 pieces. It's 1 piece and then there's 2 wing pieces like on the sides that at the end I'm gonna turn into 1 big piece. This piece is actually built, but I still need to build that one. Same thing, you know, just getting the rough shape with cardboard and then kind of transferring it from the cardboard to the wood and trimming as necessary. Hey, but it's working. It's actually getting. I also still need to do the window. The window is gonna have lights. I think I want to light the whole amp rack so that you're just looking into it and like the whole thing is lit. But then there's also gonna be lights under the amp. The amp is actually gonna be elevated mounted on some bolts, so it's gonna look like it's floating. I'm just gonna have a piece of MDF, like a small piece with LEDs wrapped around it, and that'll be the shooting out look. So this is the actual amp rack. It's gonna be removable, and the wires I think are just gonna come through on the sides like this. And this actually just drops down into that other opening where the amp is right now. So after the amp rack goes in, the floor will go on top, and then the box will go on top of that. And it's gonna look, you know, seamless when you look at it, because the trunk floor is essentially gonna be the top when it's installed. And I'm gonna do the inside just completely white and just, you know, hopefully try to get the most reflection out of it. And the piece that the amp is mounted to right now is actually a reject from when I did my last amp rack that was under the driver's seat, but it actually dropped in there, as you see it, kind of perfectly. So I ran with it. The box is just sandwiched between two pieces of wood right now. They're screwed to the floor. Just something to hold it in place for right now. Probably pretty close to what it's gonna be when it's done, just like some cleaner pieces. But I also am considering actually going through the box directly into the floor just to keep everything like completely clean. But yeah, we'll see. I might just go for simple the way it is now, but just like something a little fancier, just moderately fancier. Also, at some point, planning on changing the port from an innie to an outie, cutting out the port from the inside and actually extending it out, because it's come to my attention that I may be losing up to 40% of my output because of how choked my port is. The reason I haven't done it yet is because I'm not 100% sure how I'm gonna do that. If I'm missing 40%, that's unacceptable. We need to get that back. I guess while I have you here, I should also tell you that the VM1 is finally gonna get installed. I know I keep talking about it, but like I'm finally gonna actually put it in, because now the amp is back. So now I actually have something to monitor, you know, the power of. So I'm gonna install that. I actually came up with the idea last night. I may even make it a part of the box instead of like trying to hide it somewhere on the dash. I may like mount the VM1 to the platform, which is literally an idea I had right now as I'm recording this. I'm having that idea as I'm saying it, and I think I like that. That's like kind of also a reason I haven't installed it yet, is because I have no clue. I keep like sitting there and just like moving it around the car and like trying to figure out like where does it look good, and also where is it not gonna be a complete pain in the ass to install. We'll see. It'll probably end up going as part of the box because that's wood. I can cut out some wood. Not pretty, but I can make it look pretty at the end. That's all that matters. It looks pretty from there in 4K. It looks like I went for like a watermelon effect on the paint, but if I tell people I went for the watermelon effect, we're winning. The port retention adapter is installed. It's in there right now, but I'm not really sure if I like it because it doesn't extend the aux cable, which it made no claim to do. It didn't say like it would extend the aux cable, but since it doesn't extend the aux cable, it's almost a little useless because my iPod has a USB and an aux cable coming out of it. It's using the aux cable for video in some kind of way, and it's not doing that now. So I don't know. Not sure if that video's coming or if you're just gonna hear about it a bunch of times in some other videos. It'll be a short one. But anyway, so the next time you see the platform, it'll be done. The next time the platform is featured, it will be done. And pretty much good to go other than the window, like the actual plexiglass or the acrylic or whatever that ends up being. That pretty much brings us up to speed. I guess now's a good time to mention, my bad for taking so long to post. I work in the live music industry and it's just been going crazy lately, so I've just been tired. I've just been working a lot. It's a good problem to have, but like, it's definitely cut into YouTube a little bit. However, in 2022, I'm leaving a day on my schedule for YouTube, so we'll see how that works. Anyway though, thank you for watching. As always, I really appreciate the engagement, the likes and comments and whatnot, like, especially the comments. It's cool seeing people actually interested in seeing the DaSlapBox come together. So me and the DaSlapBox, we see you and we appreciate you. Honestly, that stuff just provides a lot of motivation, both as a creator and as like a car person. It's cool seeing people like invested in seeing what happens with my build. Like that's really cool. All right. Honest question though, how do we feel about these under construction videos? I've been considering like I could probably post more videos if instead of posting a complete like project per video, if I just kind of posted what progress was made, you know what I mean? And then maybe post like a project overview at the end. Would that work? Is that something you might be interested in? While we're on the subject of new video styles, would the car audio community feel alienated or be like, what the hell, if I posted some of my other video work? Mainly being a behind the scenes videographer for a rap group called the 90s, and also doing some audio video work. Audio. 53 alpha, take 2. My channel originally started as like all of my video work, but just the car audio stuff is doing better. Boom. So would the car audio community be like, oh, I'm out of here if I posted that stuff, or would you guys like still rock with me? And you know, be honest, I'm cool. I can handle it. Anyway, if you don't already, follow me on Instagram at DaBadNewz, DaBadNewz. I post behind the scenes content, and you'll learn about things going on with the DaSlapBox way sooner on Instagram, because it's a lot easier to like post a story than it is to like, I mean, if you saw the setup I have right now, like that's not Instagram story shit, you know what I'm saying? I am not a creator quite like that just yet. Anyway though, I want to see the bad news first. Skirt! Super major shout out to the Amp Lab, because I was hurting without having my bass, and it's like the planets are aligned again, you know, or like I'm not one of them like chakras and my chi or like all them little forces, they're all good again. And then Dolph dies. It's like, what the fuck, man? Whack.